I still maintain my own propaganda that it is the British Foreign Office that aided Robert Mugabe to rig the 1980 elections. One, it is also them that looked aside when he was busy killing Debeles in the early 1980s because it saved a British interest. Remember, the British enemy was Joshua Mkabi Nkomo and his ideology of setting free economically the black Zimbabweans. Robert Mugabe came to the picture and said, screw the black Zimbabweans in the economy, give me power. I will leave the economy in the hands of the British white Zimbabweans, the old Rhodesians. So the British taught ZANU PF how to rig. That's why they still rig today. It's a British problem. That's why I say King Charles must sort it out, his own mess, the mess of the British. So it is the British who told them that. And through Kukurahundi, they had to eliminate Joshua Mkabe Nkomo's movement, not just the person. Okay, you see, Joshua Mkabe Nkomo was not assassinated. If they wanted to assassinate him, they would have. He was not assassinated. What was killed was this idea of black Zimbabweans wanting to take over the country, the economy, because now the British had bought their own black people. I told you, these black people, they just love money. Give a black person money, they can sell the whole country. But I told Mugabe, sold all of us, sold the revolution by accepting British money and being assisted to rig. And therefore, after he rigged the elections, Mugabe Nkomo was still alive. The revolution was still alive because Robert Mugabe cheated the revolution. So he had to crash the revolution through Gukurahundi. And if you want to see who supported, you see who benefited. It was the British who benefited the most from Gukurahundi because their arch enemy, Joshua Mkabi Nkomo and ZAPU, whose ideology was to set Zimbabwe free economically, it was destroyed through Gukurahundi. Even up to today, ZAPU and the forces that are for black economic emancipation in Zimbabwe have died. They need a resurrection of the Lord. Otherwise, they've been crippled for all of these years. They have not been able to arise. Through the 90s, ZANU PF ran a policy of not allowing black Zimbabweans to become prominent because they feared that if black people are allowed to be economical, they will be strong and take over power from ZANU PF. So that was their fear. So they kept the economy in the hands of white people and did not do affirmative action. Something that they did in the 90s after ASAP, after the British and the Americans attacked Zimbabwe through their surrogate, the IMF, using economic structural adjustment program, which really was meant to destroy the legal growth that Robert Mugabe had achieved in education and in the health sector. So ASAP destroyed industries, destroyed jobs, and when they spoke of affirmative action, it was too late. We are now on a downhill trend until in the late 1990s when the war veterans said enough is enough. They invaded the white farms. Now you see now the problem I have with Robert Mugabe and his ideology is this: he did well with education, he did well with the health. He failed tremendously when it comes to managing the economy. Number one, number two, not just managing the economy. In fact, he failed mostly in economic warfare. ASAP was an economic warfare, it was an economic weapon that he was not able to understand, and he was destroyed through ASAP, and he didn't know how to get out of that. So because of ASAP now, the whole veterans needed land, and even the land invasion themselves. Robert Mugabe failed to articulate that, to understand that attack, and know how to give the war veterans land properly, how to appease them, to train them, to educate them, to build an inclusive agricultural sector, not just agricultural sector, but the broader economy. Because here it is, black people, we always say that we fought for the land, we fought for the land. Let me correct you. It's not really the land per se. We fought for economic emancipation. It's just that during those days, agriculture was the biggest sector in the economy. So black people thought that if you're a farmer, you would be rich. It was true during those days. If you're a farmer, you would be rich. or right, even right now in Zimbabwe, since mining is one of the big industries, people are scrambling for the nuclear power for the sake of access to the minerals and mining industry. It is true you can be rich by accessing those mines, but it is not all. Economic liberation isn't only about land for agriculture or land for mining, but it also about opportunities, creating opportunities in all industries, not just the manufacturing industry, but also even the new industries that are involved with information technology and other various technologies. That is why you need a government that is able to cultivate a system of governance that allows all these things to be ventilated throughout the whole broader society. So you see, Robert Mugabe failed to understand that. And even the war veterans were not educated enough to understand that what you need is education. What the war veterans needed was education, but it's not enough to just educate people, but after educating them and not empowering them to take over the economy. So what they do in Western countries is that they educate their people at the same time provide jobs. How do they provide jobs? They provide jobs by supporting industries. So when you support industries, small to medium scale enterprises, you encourage large scale employment, something that antitrust laws achieved in the United States through after the Gilded Age stage. After, they used to have monopolies in the United States from the 1860s to the 1900s, because with people like Rockefeller and Carnegie, the American railroads, and yeah, uh, and the oil industry of the United States. So when they did the antitrust laws, they were able to get more people employed. It helps with fighting unemployment, because that is the biggest employer in Zimbabwe. Now we've got a problem of monopolies. Takwere and his friends and Itim Nangakwa, they are monopolizing everything across the country. That is what exacerbates the problem of unemployment. So we need a leader who understands that this is an economic warfare. Economic management is one thing, but also understanding that you're at a warfare. Countries wage wars against other countries economically. Zimbabwe right now we're being waged war economically by the United States and Britain through the use of our well-trained people for cents on the dollar. Because Zimbabweans are well educated. Robert Mugabe did well in the 80s and 90s on education. I always say that I give him credit where he deserves it. So after doing that now, the British and the Americans became envious of these Zimbabweans who are very educated. So they made sure that our political system is destroyed so that we can go and sell our services to cents on the dollar to the British and the Americans. But the Zimbabweans don't even see that. And Mnangagwa doesn't even want to say that, has got no vision to address that, doesn't even care about that, because him and his wife and family have got a few mines there and there. You see this mindset I'm talking about, that you think that the economy is just the mines. That's because you've got gold mines and diamond, and then you are a soldier, or you're in the national army, you're in ZANU PF, you're in government. Therefore, you think that is it. You don't understand. You are losing. There is a war that is waged against you, but you don't see it. ZANU PF and the Zimbabwean military has not understood that there is a global war that is waged against them, but they don't see it because they are making money now. They don't understand the nature of the global village, the nature of the war. Right now, the Americans and the British are using ZANU PF to fight the rest of the Zimbabweans. Now, when they're done with the rest of us, they will come for you, Mnangagwa, and your friends in the Zimbabwean military. They will raid your accounts across the whole world, and they will use all sorts of legislation to bring you down and take away all that money that you made. And on top of it all, these are very clever things that they're doing right now. You see, when these Scott Nyakupawa and these Hubert Angels and these fake Prophet Javas, what they do is they steal millions of Zimbabwean of money in Zimbabwe. Do they bank it in the Zimbabwean system so that it can benefit the Zimbabwean economy? No, they bank it in Europe where it benefits the European economy. So you see, the Europeans have won. The Europeans and the Americans, they do not need to come here, white people carrying guns. No, they just use you, foolish black people. You are the ones who are going to take your own gold from your own people, destroy your own community, take that money, and you are going to put it in their banks to improve their economies. That's how foolish we are. The Bible says that if you have got a leader whose mind it is if you've got a foolish leader, go to the country who's led by a foolish leader who doesn't think, okay, because you are giving the food of the children for free. You don't care, you don't even understand how that works. You don't even understand. I have come to realization that what Arabians actually don't understand. It's not just a matter of being evil only. No, it's a matter of not understanding how the game is being rigged against them. And they are comforted by the big houses that they post. Prophet Java is always posting himself in big houses in America or wherever he is, and he's driving those nice cars. That iwulingwa ngusathane. That is ngathini, bayalingeka lula, and they think that is it. But they don't understand that the Americans and the British, they're just allowing you to do that for a while. For as long as you are destroying the Zimbabweans, they're just watching you. When the time comes, they snatch. They snatch it all. These passion Javas are going to be broken miserable with nothing. With zero. They're gonna go to the zero, to the ground. Those guys are very clever. But you are a military, you're a Zimbabwean military, you are a sovereign country. You have got the opportunity to create a political system that function, a banking system that function, and bank your money in your own country and be rich in your own country away from foreigners who would like to take it from you. So the rating of the Zimbabwean wealth was not done by the British coming as British. No, they just use foolish Zimbabweans who are willing to do it for the British whilst thinking that the British love them. That's why I'm saying that our solution has to be homegrown. Okay, if we cannot find homegrown solution, God will have no choice but to use foreigners. And when the foreigners come, trust me, they are going to charge us a very high premium for that kind of freedom. It's not really freedom. You're going to fight again. You're going to have to fight another war because you'll be like, yeah, we were afraid, but ever since the Americans came, or ever since the Chinese came, or ever since the British came, you're going to fight again because we did not understand that the homegrown solution is the best solution. But then, if people like Tagore are still stubborn, Itim Nangagwa is still stubborn, he doesn't smell the coffee. He thinks that being a president means Gujka only and not worry about the broader picture. The guy is losing the war. Chiwenga is losing the war big time and he doesn't even see it. The Zimbabwe military is losing the war and they don't even see it. We are the military, god damn it, you must understand. Don't you have military intelligence right there? It's always wars are not about shooting guns and pa 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 pa. There's currency wars, there's economic wars, there are all sorts of wars. There's cheap wars. Right now, America and China are engaged in a cheap war, semiconductor chip war. Okay, fighting over Taiwan for Taiwan semiconductor company there, and they are busy is it Arizona? They are building a $10 billion factory to produce semiconductors in the United States because they have to counter the Chinese in Taiwan. You see, and there are various other wars. Zimbabwe is losing all of those wars because our leaders are fools. Sorry to say it. Actually, I'm not sorry to say it. That's what they are. Funas team manje. Funas team manje. We have got the ability to drive that economy and build it. But look at us, we're being made second-class citizens in foreign countries, wiping the behinds of white people just because our leaders cannot take charge and understand the nature of the war. Hayibo madoda, hayibo madoda. Being a soldier is not just wearing a uniform and marching and marching and marching and being in the police band and just saying ukuthi ndiri soldier ndakaenda ndine futhi. That's not it. We are not in a hot war. We are always in a cold war. The hot war is between Russia and Ukraine, and somewhere in Somalia and a few places around the world. Otherwise, all countries are at war with all the countries through trade wars, currency wars, all sorts of wars, and Zimbabwe is losing all of those wars. We are losing all of those wars because our military doesn't even know what they're doing. They're incompetent. I'm not sorry to say it, to attack the military to turn an eve of an election, because I get angry when I see that we have got answers, we've got children and Zimbabweans who are able to fight this war, but the people that are in charge cannot understand that. They don't comprehend the nature of the war. They are out of their depths. Abawubona umdlalo, abawubona umdlalo ukuthi, is the ball going to the back, to the front? Is like, what, where must we score? Do we score there or we score? They don't even know whether actually, they don't even know that they're at a game. They don't know that it's a match. Here you are. Can you imagine? You're just in a match. You don't even know you're a player. You just see you're wearing a t-shirt written 7. You don't even know what 7 means. You don't even know what a striker is. And then the opposing team lies to you and say, kick the ball there. But you're supposed to kick ball the other side. You listen to them because you don't even know that you're in the, you're playing a match. That's what the Zimbabwe military is. I'm sorry, and I'm not sorry to say it. The Zimbabwean military has always been defeated because it does not understand the nature of the game. It does not know what is at stake. It does not know. They just see diamonds in Marange. Pa, 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 kill all black people or take diamonds, be rich, put under our pockets and bank in America. That's what the Americans want you to do exactly. That's how you lose the war. First of all, now they've got evidence of human rights abuse. They've got so much evidence to put you away for many years, and to take that wealth that you are accumulating your whole life. Your children are not going to have it. They will confiscate it, and there's nothing you're gonna do about it because you never took your time to understand the nature of the war. You need homegrown solutions. You need to bank in Zimbabwe. You need to invest in Zimbabwe. All these monies that you people in ZNP have took from the country, you need to invest them in Zimbabwean entrepreneurs. In order to do that, you need to allow entrepreneurs to prosper. In fact, go the extra mile as a government to support nascent industries, to incubate them, grow them to become more and more. Be flexible. Allow people to succeed. That is how you fight as a military. The United States military is what created Silicon Valley. Do you know that Silicon Valley, when the computers came about, it was the silicon that was being mined and produced in California. Silica that was mined and that turned into silicon to make the early computers for the US military in the about a century ago. And then it grew as the computer and the internet industry grew. Silicon Valley and California grew as a result, and the military was the biggest and still is the biggest investor of Silicon Valley companies. So companies like Facebook, Google, they don't dominate out of thin air. They don't dominate because Zuckerberg is a genius than me. I am more of a genius than Zuckerberg. Ufalo, so what is Zuckerberg to me? I can come up with a better industries than Mark Zuckerberg. Like my word, I'm not lying. I'm telling you that's what I believe. I'm better than Zuckerberg. But why is he a billionaire and I'm not? It's because he was deliberately helped by the US military, including the Jeff Bezos, the Larry Pages, and all those guys. So the US military is actually in existence in my phone right now. But the Zimbabwean military doesn't understand that they are busy shooting people. The people that are supposed to be military members, who are supposed to help us to go forward, they are shooting them and taking them out of Maranga just because they just want diamonds. What is a diamond except for a shiny stone? Are you willing to go to hell for a shiny stone? Hmm? You see, those kind of mindset, those competences that we need in our country, we do have them. We do have the people who can think. But the ones that are in charge, they don't understand. That's what I mean when I say that the British and the Americans like ZANU-PF in power, because they know that the incompetent guys, as long as they're on top, the country is destroyed. And they know that the competent ones, the ones that know what they're doing, destroy their country, make it a pariah, and they will leave their country if they try to fight. Give allow their leaders to use violence against them, and we will never remove them from power as a global mafia. They said they are, as a global community, will allow ZANU-PF to rule and justify, we just put sanctions, but sanctions that are just going to harm the black Zimbabweans and not ZANU-PF, and then those ones who are competent, they will have no choice but to get out of Zimbabwe and go to the United States or UK to build the economy of the Western world and use their ingenuity to make America great again in Zimbabwe destroyed. And so it goes on and on and on and on and on and on. I do not know when you Zimbabweans are going to come to a realization that you need to listen to me. You need to take me seriously. At some point, I wish somebody will sense, will arise and begin to agree with me, will begin to see the world the way I see the world, and begin to see what we're going through the way I'm seeing it. And then perhaps we're going to spark a real revolution. Because you cannot call removing ZANU-PF a revolution. It's not enough to say ZANU-PF must go. We used to say that Robert Mugabe must go, right? But he left. Were things better? No. Now we are saying that it's ZANU-PF, not just Robert. It's ZANU-PF and ET. What makes you think that ZANU-PF and ET leaving is going to make the country better? They need, there needs to be an understanding of where we're going and why we're going there. What are the things that we're going to do there? What are our problems right now? Our problems are not people. All people are criminals. All people are corrupt, including the Triple C and ZANU-PF are all the same. Well, the problem is a system, systemic thinking. There's a problem in the way that we think. All of us, the poor people and the rich people, the suffering Zimbabweans, including the elite in Harare, especially those in the financial industry. You know, the financial industry people in Zimbabwe, they're very educated, but they use the education to destroy each other, to destroy the system. They are corrupt and rotten. They run a rotten financial system in Zimbabwe, led by Mthuli Ncube and the Reserve Bank governor. Very educated people. They understand everything. There's nothing. There's no finance topic that they do not understand. They know everything. Everything they know. They understand it very well. But the character, after having all that wisdom and understanding, what do you use it for? Or application of knowledge. They decided to apply for enriching themselves and destroying everybody else, and thereby losing the war also. Those ones, they are clever, uh, uh, what do you call it? They are bright, they are intellectuals, but they lack the spiritual cleverness or the spiritual IQ, because with all that cleverness, they use it to destroy everyone else. Dylan Ngove can build Zimbabwe if he wants. If he wants to. If he wakes up in the morning, look, he has been building his culture park. You tell me that he cannot do the same thing the whole country. He can. He can. You know, in Zimbabwe, anybody can be a president. Those people, they can lead the Zimbabwe and make it successful. But they just don't want to, or maybe they are under a system, an oppressive system that makes them do what they do. So perhaps we need a systemic change in the way that we think, a cultural shift. Okay. Part of the war has to involve shifting culture. My vision that at some day we all come together and understand that, damn it, just sit down as different people, including, I don't care in the gold mafia, sit down and we'll talk and we'll make the country better. All right. Even that nonsensical prophet Java, he can sit there also, we'll discuss a better way forward for our country. Okay. We need to get there. That's how we'll win. Because what's going to happen with the elite in Zimbabwe is that they will wake up when it is too late, when they are being attacked by foreigners, when they really see these sanctions are nothing. We are going to see the real effect of sanctions, the real sanctions, when their own wealth that they've been accumulating for years is beginning to dwindle and be lost through various mechanisms, through various ways that the global mafia is going to beat them. then they will wish that they listened to Ngobani Zondo when he was speaking. But just for now, they're not listening. Let me go back and listen to my music and leave people that are destined for perishing and they are refusing the path of righteousness. Holy is the Lord. Have a great night. And for Jamisa.